Hello, race fans, and welcome back to PGR eSports live tonight with the 2026 PGR Better Half Dash, as we have got all the ladies in money racing ready to get going here tonight. We just wrapped up qualifying. 14 trucks getting ready to take the grid here tonight. We've seen this event 2 times before, and it has not failed to deliver. We've got a great broadcast in store for you here tonight. I'll have 2 of my partners joining me in the booth. That'll be Cody Nagels alongside Landon Velicky, and we'll introduce them in just a moment. Before we do short grid, and these guys and gals only going to take 1 parade lap, so we're going to get right down trackside and get into tonight's starting grid. And this was, again, an event that could only be ran by the wives/girlfriends of the money racing regulars. So as we get down trackside, the field's starting to roll, and the driver that will start on the pole is going to be the girlfriend of Malik Ray. And I want to apologize ahead of time if we do pronounce any of these names wrong. Not necessarily what we're used to, but that is, looks like Marie Solo Labella. And then Teresa Spiker, who we know from VRX, is going to roll off to her outside in second. It'll be Gwen Lamatri back in third, with Bree Kimber in fourth. Nikki Triscaro, and that is wife to series owner Michael Triscaro, will roll off back in fifth. It's going to be the first time Better Half Dash winner Dina Oberlander, who will roll off back in fifth. Tony Richards in sixth. And as we go back, actually it's going to be Kate Bodek back in seventh, Tony Richards eighth, Dawn Merck back in ninth, and then Lily Ray rounding out the top 10. April Hennings will start back in 11th, and that is going to be Alyssa Baker, who rounds out the top 12. Relatively smaller field here tonight, but we do have a few more drivers making the start. It's going to be Samantha McCullough in 13th, Courtney Meadows 14th, and then Ken McCullough Jr. not making a start. He is just in here to help spot. Looking at the race info here for the 2026 Better Half Dash. We are back in the truck, same car that we have ran all 3 years of this event. 30 laps the distance that will go, 100% fuel. Pit stop's not going to be an issue, and damage is turned off. So if these ladies do get in any wrecks, they will not have to worry about their night being at an end. And then we've got 1 green-white checkered if we were to need it. We'll want to quickly welcome in Landon and Cody. Guys, you have seen this event before. Always delivers a lot of chaos. Start with you, Landon. Who do you got your eye on here tonight?
Need to keep an eye on here is Malik Ray's girlfriend. Again, I'll have to hear you kind of say that a couple of times so I can get used to saying it. She's probably going to be one of the top people in here.
All right, we'll get to
Cody. Sorry, before we go green, the person I'm going to have my eyes on is someone that's been in this race before. She's got a little experience. I know she's got a lot of laps, at least relative to everyone else in the field. I am going to have my eye on Nikki Triscaro to potentially get her first win in this race.
Sounds like a plan. Well, time to get it going. The 2026 PGR Better Half Dash is underway. As green flag in the air at Talladega. It's a good initial start. for the number 1 machine. Teresa Spiker, though, quick to try to shuffle in line in second. Now, we do have a couple of the gals in here that are used to racing here on the sim. Of course, 2 of those going to be the 1 truck and the 70 machine. As Teresa Spiker now going to see a move to the inside here. That's actually Gwen Lamatry, who tries to make the move up the inside. 2x2 for the first couple of rows, but already starting to see a break in the pack as we've got our first wreck of the night, as it looks like that's April Hennings, Don Merck, and a few others that get involved over there in turn number 1.
Yeah, that was a pretty big one that we just had right off rip, right when we crossed the start-finish line. Like you said, April Hennings, got a few others involved in there. I will say it looks like we're staying green for the moment. Not sure what the rules are going to be from that standpoint of race control, if we're going to go a couple laps before you throw the yellows or anything like that. But back up front, you got a little bit of a race for the lead boiling up here.
Yeah, we definitely do, and I just want to touch on that a little bit. I know in years past that cautions have been thrown essentially anytime there has been a wreck on track. A lot of these ladies, are limited on the amount of laps that they run before this race, so I really, really like the idea here of let the ladies run a few laps, get some laps under your belt, and then, if we have something up front that needs to be a caution thrown for it, we throw the caution a little bit later in time. But let these ladies get a few laps, get comfortable, and then see if we can get the field spread out a little bit.
And as we look back at the replay there, as you heard Cody and Landon talking, it just looked like Don Merck coming down a little bit off the restart and caused that issue. But I like the point you make, Cody. Let everybody get used to these trucks. Again, a lot different running on the sim, and a lot of the wives and girlfriends, maybe not with a lot of experience here. We've seen this event a couple of times, but still some new faces, as we're going to go almost 3 wide in the trial. We'll head out Nikki Triscaro looking to the high side in the 34 PGR machine. She's going to grab a spot, but at the front of the field leading the way is still the 1 machine. Maria Solil Labella, who currently leads the way, 3 laps in the books. And man, they are tight quarters racing. The 13 of Dina Oberlander. We talked about that she has won this event before. She's looking stout right now, already inside the top 5.
I'll tell you, someone that I kind of just forgot about, but now is making a pass for the lead, is Teresa Spiker. She has a lot of experience doing this. That's definitely someone we need to be watching out for. She's still on the outside, trying to take the lead, but the run's back on the bottom. Getting that lead taken right now. I want to see if maybe we start seeing a little bit of the right rear side draft getting instituted. If any of these husbands, boyfriends, or anything are trying to tell them, hey, make sure you try and grab some right rears and try to talk them through how to do that. Right now, it's still Teresa Spiker, and now Nikki Triscaro trying to make a move through the middle, and we got a wreck in the back with the 2 truck.
It looks like, potentially 4 wide. Thought better of it. I like to see Mama T out here, someone that's got a lot of experience relative to some of the people in this field. Obviously, Malik's girlfriend, Marie, has a lot of experience out in the real world circuit. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's a mix of a lot of different talent levels, which is the fun part of this race. It's getting together and celebrating the better halves, but also very much a subdued race compared to what we're used to on normal PGR races.
And it looked like that last incident there that involved the 2 car of Bree Kimber, just a little contact between her and the 14 machine, and that's what caused that issue. But again, with no damage, you notice big hit, but it doesn't really matter here. You're able to get that truck fired and back going, and I was trying to see if it was 14 coming up a little bit or the 2 coming down. Yeah, maybe the 14 washing up just a touch off of the double yellow line, and that is Gwen Lamatry, who I believe maybe one of her first starts in this event. Only a 1-truck ordeal, so we continue to see no cautions as of yet. Curious to see if that trend continues throughout the race. Up front, Maria Solil Labella continues to lead the way here at Talladega, but on the outside, Nikki Triscaro has found a little bit of a drafting partner now, trying to make something happen here, as that is the 70 of Teresa Spiker. You heard Cody talking a lot about the things she has done in the sim. Good to see her out here tonight. As the 13 now going to go for another move for the lead. That's Oberlander to the outside. 3 trucks up top, 1 on the bottom. But Nikki Triscaro can't decide if she wants to go 3 wide or try to push the 13 to the front.
Oberlander's been kind of sneakily working her way up here, kind of hanging around the back half of the top 5, and then a little further back when we still had more trucks in this pack. And now takes the lead with some aggression here. Is going to lead this lap and kind of pull away from the other 4 trucks, as Nikki Triscaro is still trying to make a move on the outside of Marisa Lola Bell. At the moment, it's not really panning out for her just quite yet. Now Teresa Spiker sees that. She's going to take advantage of the draft in front of her and get around her for 3rd.
I like to see Dina Oberlander after winning 2 years ago. She wasn't able to participate in last year's Better Half Dash, but look at her throwing blocks on Marisa Leal-LaBelle. Love to see that. Teresa Spiker just sitting back there a little bit behind both of them. Oh, a little bit of an offset push. Let's see if it holds. One thing I am going to keep my eye on, Teresa is no stranger to the super speedway scene. As you see her side drafting on Marie there, I'm going to be interested to see how hard these ladies are going to try to side draft. Obviously, you know, line holding might be, I don't want to say a little bit of an issue, but I don't expect them to side draft the way that we're accustomed to, but a little bit of side draft could be enough to potentially win you the race.
It certainly could, but I agree. Dina Oberlander looks like she could fit in Thursdays with some of the blocks she's throwing out in front right now. Continues to lead the way here at Talladega. She's up 5 positions from where she started this race at. Nikki Triscaro, you see, still kind of playing with the draft there just a little bit further back, deciding which lane she wants to gear that run up with. The 14 of Gwen Lamatry, we talked about her having a little bit of contact in that last incident, but she still seems to be holding pretty steady at the moment as she hangs on to the back of this draft. And a lot of the ladies are carrying onboard views for us here tonight, so you may see the driver picture pop up as maybe one of the guys that we have heard before, name-wise in Money Racing, but again, here tonight is going to be the gals who are doing all of the driving. Tony Richards back in 6th on an island all by herself, though. Courtney Meadows is drafting with Samantha McCullough, but these two in desperate need of a caution to get back up front. Alyssa Baker, Bree Kimber working together. Lily Ray, Dawn Merck, Kate Bodick. I mean, these are a lot of drivers, Landon, that are going to need a caution at some point. 23 laps to go, though. The front pack has looked clean.
Yeah, 100%. On the caution front, I'm assuming we probably get one about the halfway point, probably lap 15. I'm just assuming that's my fault for not doing the due diligence on that, for seeing what the plan was for that. I know last year this is obviously a change from last year because we had a lot of wrecks happen last year. And I kind of like this, you know, a lot of clean green flag racing, a little bit of a 5-truck breakaway up here where they're still racing themselves, as now, you know, Nikki Triscaro was just leading a couple laps ago, just got shuffled all the way back to 5th. We're actually truly racing up here, and this is really nice to see, but I'm assuming, like I said, we'll probably get that caution coming up here pretty quick.
Yeah, I would think so. One thing I'm keeping an eye on a little bit is Nikki Triscaro sitting back there in 4th place, makes a pass on Gwen Lamatry, but she was side drafting Gwen a little bit, and it almost looked like both of them were getting side drafted off of the front 3 a little bit. But as Nikki gets in line, it looks like they may be pulling back to the front 3 just a little bit. Yep, definitely looks like Nikki is getting pulled, but I have to wonder, does Gwen have enough draft to stay with that lead pack?
Certainly going to need it here over the next couple of laps. Again, fuel and tires not going to be an issue. It's more of a laid-back type of an event. Of course, we're pretty laid back up here in the broadcast, but we still appreciate everybody joining us here for the 2026 PGR Better Half Dash. We'll be back to regular scheduled programming tomorrow with the Intimidator Superspeedway Series. Looking forward to that. I know Cody Landon, we may see you guys running in that event, as well as Malik Ray, but he is hoping that his girlfriend and Maria Leal-LaBelle can try to win here tonight. She currently leads the way as we cross now 9 laps in the books here at Talladega. They climb the banking back into turn 1. Single file through about the front 5 guys. You would think maybe there's a little bit of fuel saving going on up front, but I think they're just kind of figuring out what they maybe want to do. And even some of the smaller groups out back. I go towards Samantha McCullough and Alyssa Baker. It's only 2 trucks, but they're still getting a little racy even where they run now. And then Alyssa Baker and Bree Kimber actually working together, and even after being involved in an early incident.
Trouble in the back, big trouble in the back. Also, sorry to interrupt. Nikki Triscaro just tried to make a move on Dina Oberlander. Got a little bit loose out from under her and spun directly into the inside wall on the back straightaway. So this is now just a little 4-car pack that we've got going on here.
Oh, she gets clobbered. Nikki Triscaro went back up on the racetrack, and there was still oncoming traffic. No damage, and it's a good thing. That was a huge hit. As she's trying to get this truck back going, you can see the frustration. Michael trying to get her a little bit of help in getting this thing pointed back in the right direction. Let's back this up real quick and get a quick look at this here before we do go back live. Guys, I would think the caution, as Landon said, likely going to have to be thrown at halfway because this thing's getting scattered about, and it looks like she just gets a little bit sideways on the backstretch, and sometimes you make a couple too many corrections, as I think she was trying to make a move on the 13, and Dina Oberlander threw a little bit of a block. The 34 spins it out, goes down, and there's the hit off the inside wall, but we'll speed it up here for just a moment. Watch as she gets this thing back going here, starts to pull back up on the racetrack, and kaboom! The 18 of Samantha McCullough, nowhere to go, runs right into the back of her. And the early carnage continues as Nikki Triscaro now spun out of turn 4, guys.
Yeah, it is still continuing. Also, not just with her, but also Alyssa Baker and Samantha McCullough. Looked like they had a little bit of a beef going on or something, because Samantha McCullough came back down and took Alyssa Baker out. But now they're back going again. As you said, Nikki Triscaro still sitting in the back at the moment. Looks like just in the middle of turn 4. Kind of lost her for a second. Pardon me on that. But now, that changes a lot of stuff up front, where it's so kind of just nice and calm now. It's a little bit odd.
Yeah, and I don't know how much is being caught on the live broadcast, so I apologize if it is not being caught, but I am seeing some separate action going on in the back. It looked like Gwen Lamontry got into a wreck with Dina Oberlander. It was in the tri-oval. Neither lady looked like they were able to get it straight, at least initially. So I have to think maybe race control, going to what a few people are saying in chat wanting the caution to be thrown. I have a feeling race control is probably going to throw it somewhere around the midway marker, around lap 15, I would think. A lot of the pack is separated except for the front 2, but I do like the idea of letting it run green for a little bit, as opposed to what we had last year where it felt like most of the race was under caution.
Yeah, just trying to get everybody a feel. Again, 30-lap event. Everybody's having fun. It was only a $15 entry, but two of the drivers maybe not having as much fun. They're taking it pretty serious right now. As the 2 race leaders, Teresa Spiker with VRX currently leads the way here at Talladega, and in second is still Marie Soleil Labella trying to catch up. And you see the onboard view, both her and Malik in the background right there. She's doing all the driving, Malik watching. And, guys, I heard rumors, I'm not sure if this was the case, that for Marie, this is actually her own simulator. She's got her whole own setup, and from what we've seen tonight, she looks very comfortable. She could get out and race on Thursdays with these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. She's someone that races in real life and has a ton of experience, and that's no question why we're seeing her up at the front of this thing right now. And honestly, I'm kind of waiting for this yellow to come out. I want to get back put together with all these trucks again. Everything is so spread out. There's not really one defined pack on this track at the moment, and it's kind of leading the way for dominance for some of these guys like Marisa Lilibel, Teresa Spiker. It's just the 2 of them out front at the moment, still trying to battle for that lead, but hopefully we're getting that caution pretty soon here, guys.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, as soon as the caution comes out, it's gonna essentially create like a big lottery on the track, because you get 13, 14 ladies bunched up in the same pack. I do believe Mike is talking about throwing a caution now, so let's just anticipate that within the next couple of laps. But when it does happen, you're going to see a lot of people who have ran the last 15 laps and haven't really had a chance to race up front. It's going to be a second life, a new life for a lot of them. So again, going to be very, very interesting to see what happens when they get lined back up.
Absolutely. Taking a view now of the cockpit in real life for Dawn Merck, who is racing in place for, of course, Jeff Merck in this event. And Dawn always out supporting Jeff in big races, so good to see her on the sim. And she had that incident early on, but she's had a pretty good recovery since. Now back up to the 8th position, and that is a spot better than where she qualified at. You see Jeff in the background doing a little bit of coaching, and makes me wonder if Jeff is as stressed as Dawn normally seems to be as it comes down towards the end of the Thursday races. We obviously saw Jeff in the week of the PGR 500 as well, but up front, it continues to still be all the one truck. Marie Soleil Labella, she has led the most laps so far here tonight, and the dominance continues as I think we've got some even more trouble back here. It looked like with Nikki Triscaro, or is that Courtney Meadows? It reports that somebody's got an issue towards the back, and it is going to be Courtney Meadows in the 33 machine. As it looks like, again, no damage on any of these trucks, but that issue is going to cost her some time, as here she may have went into the inside safer barrier on the backstretch. You see the view right there. Austin Meadows trying to get her back rolling in the right direction. She'll get back above the apron, back rolling. And I'll tell you what, guys, I know we're obviously focused on the on-track action, but we're going to get a break now. Caution finally out on the racetrack, and this is going to break up the dominance up front and group everybody back up right at the halfway point.
Yeah, it is nice to see that, a little competition caution halfway through the race. Had a few incidents going on in that first little run. Maybe we'll clean that up a little bit, hopefully, and we'll kind of keep everybody all grouped back together. But it's absolute dominance right now at the moment by Marie Soleil Labelle. And honestly, Teresa Spiker as well. Probably two of them that we'd expect to see up here, like we mentioned. Marie races in real life, has her own sim rig. Teresa Spiker, a big member of the VRX races and all that. She does this on a regular basis. So not too much of a surprise there, but I'm kind of wanting to see a little bit of these underdogs kind of get a little bit of action going here and see what they are able to do on this restart.
All right, so going back to what you were talking about, the underdogs. So we have touched quite a bit on the two favorites up at the front of the field. I want to ask both of you, Landon and Dawson, as far as underdog picks, who do you guys like now that this pack is getting bunched back up? Who do you think stands the best chance to benefit from it?
I got to go with, man, I mean, for an underdog pick here, I can think of a few drivers. I'm not sure who ran this the last couple of years, didn't get the opportunity to make it up here in the booth last year, but I think Courtney Meadows was looking pretty good there before she got caught up in that late incident. Another mine that comes to name here, which we did see up front already, I think, and this will be my pick, was Gwen LeMaitre. I think it's LeMaitre, but I apologize again if I'm saying that last name wrong, but I'm going to go with Gwen here in the number 14 truck. She's had that Toyota up front a few times, and now that they group back up, she's going to restart fifth. Landon, who do you got?
I don't really want to call these two underdogs since they are former winners of this, but so far in this race, they kind of have been underdogs. Dina Oberlander, kind of more so, I guess she was up front earlier, but then Samantha McCullough's had a rough race so far, just now getting her laps back and everything. She won this last year, so she's going to be trying to come from the back, like I said, getting her laps back. So again, it's a little tough to call them underdogs, but just so far in this race, we haven't really seen their presence up here in the front, in the lead of this thing. So I don't know, we'll just have to see what they're able to do.
I'm going to have another pick out there for you, and this might be a little bit of NBG favoritism, but she wrecked on lap 1. I'm looking forward to seeing what Dawn Merck can do once we go green again.
Yeah, obviously good picks all around the board. Dawn Merck getting again coached by Jeff Merck, and that is her husband. Those two pretty good duos so far. We've seen obviously success for Jeff in the money racing community before, and Dawn looking to see if she can become a first-time winner of this event here tonight. Now, the other thing to keep in mind, we are seeing some pit stops. This is interesting here. You don't need fuel. You can obviously make it all the way in that aspect. There's no damage. Guys, I think that they decided to go in for some tires, and I'll tell you what, I don't know if, series owner Michael Trasquero did this on purpose or what, but when we looked at the race info track temp here at Talladega tonight, over 120 degrees, that's tricky, even for the guys that race on Thursdays, so I got to think that that's maybe playing into some of the challenging conditions we've seen so far here tonight.
Yeah, 100%. These trucks are very aero dependent as is, especially since the new update. And if they get loose, just by someone being on your bumper, not even touching you, if you just have that little aero bubble, they will snap around and get loose on you. Then you add 120 track temp to it, then the tires aren't going to be a fan of you. It's going to be getting even more loose. So 100%, that's definitely probably contributing to some of these incidents that we've had, especially the ones where they just kind of break free, kind of like Cletus McFarland did in the Daytona truck racer last week, where it just breaks free from you and you can't really do much about it. So far we've seen that. We're wrecking on the back straightaway. It's Dawn Merck has gone around. I'm trying to see what exactly has happened here, and I don't know what just happened there, but Dawn Merck, unfortunately, spinning down the back straightaway, and I think might have collected another, maybe not. Okay, it looks like just so far Dawn Merck with a little incident.
Yeah, it looked like she just got off a pit exit, and as the old adage that we like to say in the money racing community, I think she just pulled an Eberhardt and just ran out of talent.
Bringing that one out, Cody. Hey, I know we're having fun up here. I'm going to let it slide for now, but hey, we're going to be going to probably right around 10 laps to go once we get back to green flag racing. We want to make sure that we give all the gals a shout out here that turned up for this event here tonight. So we're going to go through some of the names that we didn't get to talk about yet due to all the action that we saw up front and then the chaos throughout the field. The 79, though, of April Hennings caught up in the first incident of the night. Obviously didn't bring out the caution, but she'll get a second shot at it now, as normally Brian Hennings is running on that sim, but she'll get the opportunity to try to drive this 79 machine to victory lane here tonight. And obviously, a little bit further back, going to restart here in the 13th position. That is Alyssa Baker. And we haven't called her name a ton here tonight. She qualified actually back outside of the top 10, but so far, a pretty good run going. Trying to get a little bit closer towards that top 10 area, the 18 machine. And she'll have some work to do as she tries to get her way back towards the front of the field. Lights are off on the pace car, so we will be getting back to green flag racing this time. Bree Kimber currently leads the way here at Talladega. She's picked up 3 spots from where she started, and it's going to be Marie Solio Labella who will roll off from second, Gwen Lemaitre back in third, Tony Richards fourth, and Teresa Spiker rounding out the top 5. And guys, I said we were going back green this time, and it looks like they're still trying to get sorted out here to get 2x2.
I believe we are going back green. Lots of black clear issues right now. Lots of black flags getting handed out. Now we just extended the caution by 1 lap, I think, to try and sort all that out. But yeah, so we got to wait 1 more lap to get back to the action here. But like you mentioned, we have a new player up here, Alyssa Baker. That is up here, excuse me, not Alyssa Baker. Bree Kimber up here, leading now. A little bit of a blinking issue going on there, so that's definitely a concern for some drivers that are going to be behind her, but hopefully she'll get that sorted out and we'll be able to contend for the win here.
And it's just going to be an interesting dynamic as we go green. You have Bree Kimber, who has not seen the front yet. You have Marie Solio Labella, who has been up front the entire race and dominated the early portion of the race. I'm trying to think. Gwen Lemaitre? I think that's Lemaitre. You have Gwen Lemaitre on the outside, which she has been up front a little bit, but you have a little bit of a different mix here, and it's going to be interesting to see, are they going to show patience? My prediction, probably not, but it's going to be just an interesting dynamic to see new leader. How does everyone else respond?
And lights did go back on the pace car, so we're not going green this time around. We'll get 1 more lap to get ready to get going. Give us a chance here to talk about a few more of the drivers who have been on the move so far here tonight. Tony Richards, she has made up 4 positions from where she started this race at, so currently now sitting up inside of the top 5. And again, she will restart in that 4th spot. There's the onboard view. And Tony's been doing a good job so far here tonight. And we'll have to see if she can get a few more. It's a top 5 payout. It is worth mentioning that. Obviously, everybody wants to win this event, but if nothing else, at least you know that you can give yourself a pretty good payday. As you see waving in the background, the Richards doing good. Good to see everybody enjoying themselves over in that household. And as we do get ready to get back to green flag racing, once again, it will be 10 laps to go here from Talladega. Samantha McCullough is up 3 spots. Nikki Triscaro going in the wrong direction. Guys, I know Mike's got a lot of competitive fire. I got to think he's rooting her on here to get going here pretty soon.
Well, I think we saw that a little bit earlier on in the race with those 3 wide moves going through the middle to the outside, trying to take some right rears and do some side draft. And Mike's definitely probably spotting her in her ear right there saying, this is what you got to do. You got to do this. You got to do that. Starting deep in the field here, like we kind of mentioned that. So going to be someone to keep an eye on for sure. She's led a lot of laps over these Better Half Dashes over these past 3 years or I guess 2 years that we've been doing this. Up front, though, you know, hopefully we keep this clean. I did just listening to Mike himself as the race control mentioned that they're going to throw cautions if there's like really big wrecks, like big ones that happen. If it's smaller ones, probably not. So that's what we have to look forward to here as Bree Kimber is going to be leading us to the green flag.
And the pace car is off. Again, as you said, Bree Kimber is going to be taking us to the green. All right, as the cars approach into the tri-oval, and here we are. Green flag is out.
Green flag back in the air. 10 laps to go in the 2026 Better Half Dash. Good restart for the front row. It's actually going to be the 14 of Lemaitre that gets the big run. She'll get clear before they climb the banking into turn 1. And just like that, Gwen Lemaitre is going to go to the lead here at Talladega. Everybody else has got a shuffle in line behind. You see, for Labella, she's got some help and a drafting partner, Teresa Spiker, stuck on the outside. A few trucks here trying to make up some ground, but a much cleaner start than what we had in the, at the initial start of this race. So I got to think here, for everybody that is about 7th, 8th on back, it's single file out, try to catch up to the leaders, but we're starting to see some moves at the front of the field.
Yeah, we are. We got about 3 aggressive moves to the outside lane of the racetrack. Looked like we had a little bit of a stack up there on that restart involving Kimber. I'm not sure what happened there. Looks like, thankfully, you know, they were able to all get back going very well. Now we've got some 3-wide action here as Marie Solio Labelle takes it to the middle of the racetrack. Nothing really home for her there, so she's going to pick up that draft again from Kimber and try to go to the middle once more here heading into turn 1.
Yeah, and they're still 3 wide. Looks like they're sorting it out just a little bit. Ooh, yep. We're going to be sorted back to 2 wide. Up front, though, Teresa Spiker continues to have a strong showing. Gwen LeMaitre also with a very, very strong showing. That's someone that's been up front numerous times in this race. Dawn Mark, oh, we have a wreck in the back. Huge wreck in the back, including Dawn Mark, and it looks like Samantha McCullough was involved as well.
Man, that's a tough break for Dawn Merck. She looked like she might have been the innocent victim in that one. A couple trucks in front of her started to get sideways, and Samantha McCullough, same ordeal as well as she gets taken out in this one. It does not draw the caution. So with 9 laps to go, we're going to keep it green. We'll keep cameras up front for the moment as Teresa Spiker now leads the way. Tony Richards trying to catch up here on the outside. That 52 machine has been sporty. She's got a good run on the outside here, trying to side draft to 14. Back, but Brie Kimber now starting to make her way back up into the mix as well. We talked about her restarting towards the front. Didn't get the best restart possible, though. That allowed a couple of these other gals to get past her pretty quickly, and now we're starting to see the moves on the outside once again. Marisa Leal-Labella is going to jump to the high side. She'll get a couple of takers up top, and here comes Nikki Triscaro trying to get up to the back of, looks like, is that Meadows? Yeah, she's trying to get back up and help Courtney Meadows, who's a little bit further back, actually a lap down, so that was a wrong truck identification there, but 3 wide at the front.
And, you know, someone else that I'm not sure we've really talked about too much up here is Tony Richards as well. That's someone else from the VRX stable, along with Teresa Spiker. They're teammates in this. And right now they're 1-2 up here, leading this race and starting to pull away from all the trucks in the back as Marisa Leal-Labelle is trying to make a pass for 3rd place. Brie Kimber is going all over the place trying to get around, is that Overlander, I believe, fighting for 3rd place. These VRX gals up here, they're taking it to them at the moment, heading out of turn 2.
And that's something, Landon, that we're really not used to seeing either. In years past, it's just been every woman for themselves, but now we have a dynamic of teammates, VRX teammates, up front, leading the group, and you have to think, you know, they're gonna work with each other as much as they possibly can, but when it comes down to it, both of them ladies want to win. So it's not a matter of if one is going to pull out for the win, it's just a matter of when they're going to do it.
And as it stands right now, they're going to be coming back to the line, and it will be just 6 laps to go here at Talladega. The front pack continues to dice it up, and a couple drivers out towards the back in desperate need of a caution. And that truck that I did mistake earlier for Meadows was actually Rhea, who we didn't get a chance to talk too much about, though. And Lily's doing a great job so far here tonight, as she has picked up 3 positions from where she started this race at, trying to capture her first Better Half Dash win at the high banks, but she's got a little bit of work to do. We're starting to see that pay window open, so you got to start to get aggressive now. Teresa Spiker and Tony Richards, though, continue to lead the way. Gwen LeMaitre, Nikki Triscaro, though, trying to catch up, and we've got another break in the pack here. Got to be careful if you're Nikki Triscaro. If this group can't catch up, they may not get a shot at the leaders again.
Yeah, we just had that break in the pack because there was an incident with Brie Kimber and former winner Dina Oberlander got into it, wrecked down pit road in through the tri-oval grass, and looks like one of them, I think it's Kimber, still trying to work their way back up into this pack. But that's what happened here. We've got this huge break now with Spiker, Richards, and let me see, sorry, who that 3rd truck is. That is Watts, at least Owen Watts is the boyfriend. I'm sorry. And we got another crash in the back. Goodness gracious, so much going on. April Hennings just crashed hard in turn number 1, and that's going to create more. Now Nikki Triscaro's around in front of Marisa Leal-Labelle, and LaBelle saves it. Somehow, someway saves it and keeps it going straight. Still no caution. We've got a full-blown 3-truck breakaway up here at the front.
Yeah, we do, and just to kind of touch up on who you were talking about, Owen Watts' better half, that is Gwen LeMaitre in P3, but she's outnumbered right now with the VRX ladies leading, that being Teresa Spiker and Tony Richards. Now the big question is Race Control going to throw the caution and re-rack these ladies one more time? I guess we're just going to have to find out here as we approach at 4 laps to go.
I don't think we get a vote, but I'll tell you what, guys, if we do, I want to see them try this one more time. Let's rack them up and get one more restart here at the high banks, but we're going to be coming to 3 laps to go. And you mentioned Tony Richards, Teresa Spiker, both out of the VRX stable. I think those two are going to be content to work together. The question's going to be, does Richard make a move on Teresa Spiker, or is she able to hold on? As that looked like April Hennings right there spinning around. Caution. That will answer that question, as we are going to get a caution late, and this will set us up for an overtime finish. at Talladega Superspeedway. Got a report here that Bree Kimber and then, of course, April Hennings, who we just saw in that last camera view, did go around. But you got to think this caution is more so a result of all the incidents combined that is going to set us up for one 2-lap shootout to decide who's going to be the 2026 Better Half Dash winner.
Yeah, very happy to see this caution come out. Like, we're just a little bit of a, maybe broadcast bias up here. We want to see the action and provide all that action to the audience. Glad that we have that. And at the moment, it really tells you a story about how big this breakaway just was. Up front, it is only 6 trucks that I'm seeing up here. Everyone else is still coming out of turn 4. Not sure what's going on here, but that just tells you the story about all the separation, all the wrecks that we just had happen. And I'll tell you what, we're going to be in for a show here coming to the end of this thing. I think this is really when everything's going to start blowing up within the pack, maybe even at the front of the pack, even though I doubt that. Coming from Spiker and Richards, those two, like we mentioned, they're going to be working together. They're going to be trying to take this thing home for VRX.
And I know we have seen a little bit of dominance from several different trucks throughout the course of this race. Early it was Marie Soleil LaBelle, and then a little bit later in the race it was the VRX ladies in Teresa Spiker and Tony Richards that were dominating the race. But, however, I think now that everyone gets re-racked, you know, in years past, it has been a matter of who can make it through the big one. I personally don't think we're going to make it through 2 laps without seeing at least a couple larger wrecks. I think the winner of this race is just going to be the one that gets through it. Wreck avoidance is going to be the biggest trait in who comes home victorious tonight.
And it seems like it can be that way on Thursdays a lot as well. Funny how things transfer over depending on what you're racing, but when it comes to super speedway racing, there's a lot of things that are very similar no matter who is driving the truck. So pit stops here are not going to be much of a factor besides a few drivers that either want fresh tires or, well, that would be the extent of it because, again, no damage to get fixed. You do notice there is a few of the ladies that have fallen a lap down. Courtney Meadows, the first truck, a lap down. Bree Kimber, Dawn Merck, also not on the lead lap. And with only one green-white checkered, their chance at winning the 2026 PGR Better Half Dash will come to an end. By the way, for just joining us, again, we appreciate you being here. I want to wish you a happy Valentine's Day to all the ladies that are watching here. The PGR guys are used to running on Thursdays, but we've seen this event the last 2 years be run the weekend, or rather the week after Valentine's Day, and always a lot of fun to watch them on track. And of course, up here in the booth, we appreciate everybody joining us, having a little bit of fun with my 2 partners, Landon Veliky and Cody Nagels up here. It's good to have you guys back, and then tomorrow we'll get a little bit more serious once again as the Intimidator Super Speedway Series returns back in action for that. 3 laps to go, but it will be a green-white checkered shootout. Cody, you mentioned favorites earlier, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Landon, I look at some of the names up here, and similar to the storyline that we talk a lot about on Thursdays, I think if they can dodge the chaos in the first half a lap, I like Teresa Spiker and Tony Richards to work together and one of them to try to hold on at the end of this thing.
Yeah, 100%. That's really the situation that we have here. I don't see anything really changing on that front unless some sort of chaos starts erupting and everyone kind of behind them gets wise to it and then starts working together to try and pass them. We'll just have to see. We are wrecking once again on the back straightaway at the moment. That is, I'm trying to see who that is. Give me 1 second. Alyssa Baker has spun on the back straightaway. I heard Dina Oberlander apologizing over the radio. Maybe that's what kind of caused that. She's back going again, though. Hopefully we'll get her spot back as we're coming to the 1 to green signal. Still got a little bit of time to go here for our one and only attempt at the green-white checker.
And I have been very impressed with Gwen LeMaitre. That's going to be, I know I had said Dawn Merck a little bit earlier in the race, but that is going to be my current pick for who wins, or at least the person that I would like to see come home victorious, because you have to think with the drivers that are around her, she has to be a little bit of an underdog, but has performed very well throughout the race.
She certainly has, and she'll restart here from the 3rd position, so great track position to try to grab that win, and we'll see if the lights on the pace car go off this time. That would signal the 1 to go mark, and of course I've seen a lot of chatter about it. One of the favorites coming into this event and still holds true is Marie Soleil LaBelle, who will restart here from the 4th spot. I think if she gets to the lead, she's going to be a tough pass. Obviously going to be pretty good when it comes to blocking here, especially when the runs aren't charged up as much as they are when we're used to seeing the guys get bumper to bumper on Thursdays at the end of these races. But we have not seen a ton of duos work together. I think the best one so far tonight has, of course, been Tony Richards and Teresa Spiker. They'll restart on the front row, and then as you go a little bit further back here, of course, Alyssa Baker, who you just heard Landon talking about, getting in that incident under caution. Dina Oberlander, she's not out of it yet. Could be the first two-time winner in the Better Half Dash. Nikki Triscaro is going to have another shot at it. April Hennings. And then I go back to actually Courtney Meadows, guys, did get her lap back. So even she will have one more shot at it before this thing is all said and done.
Yeah, I've still got, I think, a couple of drivers trying to get their laps back at the moment. At least that's what it seems like. Either way, we're going to end it right here. And I'm just ready for all this chaos that's about to ensue, because we've got some heavy hitters in the back of this thing that are going to be trying to make their way to the front. Both of our former winners, Oberlander and McCullough, are 7th and 8th right now. That's middle of the pack. They're going to be making their way forward. Same with Don Merck, too, like Cody was talking about. I mean, Jeff Merck's as experienced as anybody when it comes to this stuff. He's going to be telling her every bit of his knowledge to try and get her up here and contend for this win. Also, Nikki Triscaro, someone that we've seen lead laps every single time we've done one of these back here as well. So lots of heavy hitters in the back going to be trying to make their way forward. I think this could kind of start resembling a little bit of a Thursday night finish here with all of those drivers in the back trying to make their way forward. And sometimes that ends good, sometimes it ends bad. We'll just have to see.
Well, Austin, I will segue this restart to you, but I will add one thing. All it takes is a major wreck right now, and we could see a two-time winner, because the previous winners are sitting 7th and 8th. Really, it's not going to take a lot to potentially see one of them in victory lane.
Very big possibility. Well, one chance at a restart. They're going to run both laps under green. We are getting ready to crown a winner in the 2026 PGR Better Half Dash. Back into the restart zone for Teresa Spiker. She gets through the gears clean, but it's going to be mayhem out back. Not a good restart as you get to 7th on back. Samantha McCullough is going to spin out in the 8 machine. Don Merck manages to just barely miss her. And it looks like everybody else is going to keep going clean. At the front of the field, though, Teresa Spiker leads them into turn number 1 and 2. Tony Richards on the outside, Gwen LeMaitre on the inside, and then it's LaBella, Lily Ray, all making it back to the lead pack as they work onto the backstretch.
Some good organization in this pack at the moment, and I will say Spiker and Richards still working to almost control these lanes right now. In this truck, you want to be on that outside lane with how the side drafting works and everything. I say that, they're going to go back down to the bottom, and we'll say that's them controlling lanes, and it looks like, honestly, that's what they're doing. They have experience doing this. Wouldn't surprise me. Still, the battle is in the back for third between Marie Soleil LaBelle, trying to get around for third position, but right now it's just not materializing as we're coming to the white flag.
And it looks like Marie is side drafting relatively well. White flag is out. As we take the white flag, it's still the VRX ladies leading the pack. But let's see if Marie Soleil LaBelle can at least side draft her way up to P2. But no, a little bit of a block. Tony Richards with a great block and goes back down. We're going to see if Marie can generate any kind of a run as we enter the backstretch.
And the problem here for Marie is she needs some help in the drafting form. She's going to get it. Tony Richards to the outside. Teresa's going to block to the high side. Now Richards is going to push her off into turn 3. And for the final time, you got to start to gear up which lane you're going to stick with the rest of the way. LaBella's going to go back to the inside. Spiker's going to block down low. And they got to be careful here if you side draft too hard. Teresa's looking to run away with this thing. Final time off of turn 4. Maria's going to get turned. It's going to be all Teresa Spiker back to the line. Kate Boduck out of nowhere, though, late, trying to catch up, but she's going to run out of time. For VRX, Teresa Spiker wins the 2026 PGR Better Half Dash.
Absolute domination in the second half of the race by Teresa Spiker. And, you hate to see Tony Richards and Marie LaBelle take it out like that, because they were in contention. They had their podium finish right there in the bag. Those unfortunately kind of tangling with each other there right at the end. But shout out to Teresa Spiker, a veteran of the community. We've seen her run the PGR 500 last year, the Summer Slams, attempted those. We know that she knows what she's doing. So good to see her come out here and win this Better Half Dash.
Known affectionately to our community as Mama T, as she is exiting turn 4, coming to the tri-oval. I am very, very happy to see Teresa Spiker in victory lane tonight, capping off what was a very, very eventful yet fun event in the 2026 Better Half Dash.
And man, it was a crazy finish too. You got to give a big tip of the hat to Kate Boduck and then Lily Ray, who were both able to make their way back up in contention and finish on the podium before this thing was all said and done. And as Teresa Spiker now going to burn it down here on the front stretch, from the virtual grandstands. We'll get a chance to hear from her, hopefully, along with your other 2 podium finishers in just a moment. But another great event. It was a success. Glad to see all the ladies that were able to turn out for this one. Hope to see the same and even more next year as wow. That was a close call there coming down the front stretch. Teresa almost just got cleaned out. Before we get into the post-race festivities, though, do want to get a look at your finishing results here. Again, unofficially, but nothing that would necessarily be expected to change these results here, as it was Courtney Meadows who got, or excuse me, this was practice. I was getting ready to say Teresa actually got the win here tonight, so we'll get this reset for you. Teresa Spiker was your race winner here at Talladega in the Better Half Dash. It was Kate Bodek who takes home second, Lily Ray in third, and I believe it might be Rhea. I apologize if I am pronouncing the last name wrong there. Gwen LeMaitre back in fourth. Dina Oberlander, winner of the first ever, the defending winner, rather, of the 2025 PGR Better Half Dash, takes home fifth. Marie Salil Labella, who was a favorite coming into this event, finishes in sixth. Tony Richards, seventh. Alyssa Baker in eighth, with Courtney Meadows ninth, and Nikki Triscaro rounding out the top 10. April Hennings finishes in 11th. Samantha McCullough, 12th. Dawn Merck, 13th, with Bree Kimber, 14th. And that will round out your 14-truck field here tonight. All right, well, let's head down here, see if we can find some of the ladies, and we will have interviews coming up in just a moment. Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway, as we will now get into the post-race festivities. Want to start with race interviews here, and Teresa Spiker is your race winner of the 2026 Better Half Dash. We've got her up here in the booth. Teresa, this is Austin. You got a copy?
Hi, Austin. I do. How are you tonight?
Well, I'm good, but hey, we were excited watching you at the front. Looked like what we've seen from you a few times on some of the Thursday races. You were able to hold control at the end and get the win. How big is this one for you?
This is sweet. This is a great day. I've got my Nana Rose watching here with me, and she's battling for her life, and I was battling for mine on the track for her, and I'm so proud of her. I'm proud of the girls. They did a great job tonight. It was a good race. It was a lot of fun.
It certainly was, and obviously a lot of fun to watch. Teresa, we've seen this event take place for a few years now, and the field continues to slowly grow. What did you see out there tonight? And for all the ladies watching out there that maybe want to join this event, what would you say to them to get them to come out here and race next year?
It is such a stress reliever, and it will bring you closer to your spouse and your better half. Get a rig, get out here, get some practice. It definitely is more competitive and more to it than what you realize. And I recommend it to everyone. I walked past my husband's rig for a year and a half saying, I don't want to play your silly game. And now I love it. So recommend it. We need more women out here. Don't be afraid of it. Get in.
Absolutely, and some great words right there from Teresa Spiker. Well, before we let you head out, Teresa, a great run. You grab what would be considered in a form a crown jewel PGR win. So is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Sure. I'd like to thank my husband, and I'd like to thank everyone here at PGR. I'd like to also thank Brian Hennings and all of the VRX team. They have taught me a lot, and I appreciate it, and they all mean the world to me.
And Teresa, thank you for talking to us. Once again, congrats on the win here tonight, and hopefully we will see you around in the future.
Take care, Austin. Thank you for having me.
There you go, Teresa Spiker, race winner. Well, we were going to try to interview your second place finisher, which was Kate Bodick, but we do not see her still hanging around in the top 3 waiting room. So instead, we are going to push right on to the final podium finisher tonight, and that is Lily Rea. Lily, this is Austin up in the booth, but before I actually get to that, we're going to see if we can pull her up here. And with that, we'll actually leave it to Cody here. Cody, do you got a copy with Lily?
I absolutely do. Lily, do you have the boys in the booth?
I think I do.
All righty, I hear you. All right, so take us through the race. It was a little bit of an eventful race. Take us through the race from Lily's vantage point.
Okay, well, this is my second time touching a steering wheel that's not in my current mom van. And honestly, I had zero game plan. I had nothing. I just locked in, as my husband says.
Well, getting locked in got you on the podium. It was, like I said, very eventful run. Just take us through, how hard was it to adjust to everyone that was on the track? Did you feel yourself kind of backing down the aggression a little bit, or did you have any nerves going into this? Just how did you feel?
I think so, a little bit. I think, especially getting super close, I was very hesitant, my husband says. But overall, I just listened to him, and he's a good explainer and a good guider. So he kind of walked me through how to race, and that helped tremendously.
Well, as we had heard Mama T in the interview right before we pulled you in, it's events like this one that I think bring boyfriends and girlfriends and husbands and wives together and just builds camaraderie. These events are special. They're special to PGR. They're special to the women that are driving it, and to the husbands and boyfriends that are able to watch their better half out here, sharing something that they love together. So I enjoy just seeing the camaraderie on the track, but it's also a competitive level that is just, it's really, really fun to see. So come next year, are we going to see Lily back in the truck for next year's Better Half Dash?
Would hesitantly say yes, pending schedules and whatnot.
All righty. Well, we do look forward to seeing that. But before I let you go, is there any final thanks, thoughts, or shout outs that you'd like to give?
No, I think aside from just thankful for my husband guiding me through it. So it was fun and a good way to understand more about things that your partners may be into and vice versa.
Well, I cannot speak for your husband, but I believe that he definitely appreciates you getting out here and being able to do that. Definitely a special moment, I believe, for you guys. But congratulations on your P3, and we hope to see you back next year.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, and that was Lily Rea, your third place finisher here tonight. She looks pretty pumped up about it. You saw the fist bump there on the driver cam, as again, she was able to take home a podium and some extra money here tonight. Well, we're just about going to wrap things up. Again, sorry that we could not get an interview with second-place finisher Kate Bodick, but we did not see her join any of the VC channels, so we will miss out on that. Guys, before we officially call it a night here, obviously another year of a great event. We like to kind of have fun up here in the booth for it. It was a lot more laid back, maybe not as serious as what we're used to, and a similar vibe on the racetrack, and I think Mama T put it perfectly. For the ladies especially, get out here. It's a stress reliever. Not taking it too serious, just having a good time racing the trucks at Talladega.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very fun thing to do, and it's so different for everyone involved. Like a lot of what Cody and you were talking about, and what Teresa Spiker was talking about, kind of a good way to bring people together and a way to kind of, even like the normal people of the community, you watch this and you have some fun with it, because we can get quite entrenched in what we do sometimes, to the point where it's probably not that good for your mental health, but it's very good to see, us having these fun moments that we can have, and, just hope it keeps going on. And personally, I'd love to see more events like this. I know I don't know what that would look like, but, it's just nice to have the Better Half Dash and other events like that we have to kind of bring everyone back together and have a good time.
And Landon, I also think it takes events like this one tonight to show us that, sometimes, like you had mentioned, we take this very, very seriously. And sometimes I think we take it a little bit too seriously. But it is nice to see a race like this, the Better Half Dash. It's a breath of fresh air, and it puts it in perspective for all of us that at the end of the day, this is recreation for us. Yes, we do take it serious, but when we get our better halves out here and you see the smile on their face and the enjoyment that they get, I think it kind of makes us take a step back and realize maybe we need to have more fun with this and realize what the true reason that all of us got into this for. It's a passion. We enjoy doing it, and it's something that maybe we just need to take a little bit less serious. Just, kind of do what our better halves did tonight. Go out there, have fun, and truly do it for the love of racing, not for necessarily the competitiveness or the egos that we're used to seeing out there. This was just true. It was the passion of racing, I think, is what we've seen tonight.
And all in good fun. Well, that's going to wrap it up here for our coverage of the 2026 Better Half Dash. We want to thank you all so much for tuning in. We hope that you had just as good of a time as we did. And also, once again, reminder that we will be back tomorrow on a bit more of a serious note as the Intimidator Superspeedway Series returns once again. And I want to thank Landon Velicky and Cody Nagels, my two partners in the booth tonight. I'm Austin Green, and until next time, have a good night.